book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has but a short time. The book of 2 Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 2 Esdras, chapter 15 and 11. Let's start at 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God Yahweh shall bring upon it. All praises to Yahweh, by Shem Hawashai, Wahara Kakadash, the honors of the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. They're scattered abroad amongst the heathen. Some look like the heathen, beginning with 144,000 preachers, teachers, and prophets. Shalom. Now, we know that Yahweh Shema Shai is plagued in America, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Egypt representing bondage, which is the place of the captivity of the Israelites. All right. Yahweh Shema Shai is plaguing Egypt again as before. Right. And there was a blackout for 3 days in ancient Egypt. All right. But we do know that Yahweh Shema Shai is going to allow Esau to bring forth this great reset. Reset means to start over, reboot, initialize, right? So things have to be cut off to do a great reset, and this old infrastructure is out of the way, and they're gonna bring in the new, okay? Which really they've been setting things up since COVID when they was laying down those fiber optic cables. Now Trump is talking about doing away with the copper. Okay, the copper cables, and bringing in fiber optic cables, which is a lot faster. Remember, they need these things to go off without a hitch. Okay, because with these fiber optic cables, things are going to be quick, fast, and in a hurry, lightning speed. All right, with no interruptions, and they need that for this technology, this AI. And we got a video that we're gonna play with Trump speaking on that, and we're gonna play this video at the bottom. But you see right here. 22 hours ago, Fox Business, Trump's energy department warns Americans could face 800 hours of blackouts by 2030. Now, when you do the math, I did the math already, and it's 33.3 days, all right? Now, this is Esau's time, but, hey, we on Yahweh Shema Shai time, all right? So, hey, it could be a whole month, a month and 2 days. Or it could be 3 weeks, or we don't know how long it's going to be. All right? But it's going to be a certain period of time where, hey, it's going to break people down, man. And people are going to be begging and crying for aid and help because it's going to be so chaotic. Remember, Klaus Schwab said what? We have to bring forth an angrier world. All right? So when you do 800 hours divided by 24 hours on a day, you get 33.33 days. That's a month and 2 days. All right? So, hey, however long these blackouts hit and last, hey, it's going to be an extended period of time. Food is going to rot. People are going to die. People, hey, they're not going to be able to keep the medicine cool. People are going to die. All right? All right, it's going to bring forth mold and bacteria. Hey, people not going to have the internet. People not going to know what's going on. People not going to be able to buy and sell. Why? Because things are going to be shut down. You're not going to be able to get gas. Why? Because things are going to be shut down because of the blackouts. No energy. All right? People not going to be able to keep up with the time. People are going to go crazy. Hey, you're not going to be able to talk on the phone. Get on the internet. Okay? People are going to go crazy. And anything else you can think of, you're not going to be able to have heat when it's cold or AC when it's hot. All right. Now, real quick, hey, as we read in Revelation 12 and 12, these are the things that's going on and are going to happen because Esau is coming down with great wrath because he has but a short time. That word devil just means deceiver, slanderer, false accuser, man. All right. Now, you get the prophecy, which we read how Yahweh Shema is going to plague Egypt again as before. All right. And remember, hey, they're going to be blackouts again, man. All right. And this is all a part of that great reset to bring in this new infrastructure. You get 2nd Ezra 6 and 24. At that time shall friends fight against one another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. You see, so things are going to be shut down, man. All right, are going to be shut down, and it's going to be very chaotic. All right, this is what the elites want, because remember that great reset. When they reset it, they're going to cause the chaos. And when they start it back up, it's going to be a system of nothing but AI, fast-moving AI. That's going to be for your aid, your comfort, your support, supposedly. All right? And you best believe it's going to be in certain cities, man. That's why they're moving forward with the no transportation in the cities except it's public transit. And it's going to be quick, fast, and in a hurry. Hey, this technology, man, the track and trace, hey, is going to be crazy. All right? They don't have time to put these things up in every single city in the United States, man. All right? It's going to be in certain major areas. All right? Now, let's play. We can play both of these videos. This one right here is 7 minutes and 43 seconds. The other one is about 11 minutes. So we'll play this one first since it's the shortest. Then we'll let Trump speak on the fiber optic cables. And he's saying that, hey, they need things, electricity, and things to be much faster for the new AI, which is artificial intelligence. It's literally going to tell you that, and we're going to play it. And this is the time that we're in. So get ready for it. Now they want, hey, these things are going to be done by 2030. So these things are going to be up and running and in effect and happening before 2030. And Esau don't determine the time Yahweh Shema Shah does. Okay, I don't believe this place can be here another 5 years, but if it does, hey, we just got to hold off, man. All right, as much as hard as it is to do, hey, we've been doing it for this long, man. So shit, we ain't got nothing else to do and nowhere else to go. So we just got to wait on Yahweh Shema Shah. All right, so hey, let's play this.
President Trump is fast-tracking energy.
Let's see.
Projects, nuclear, as we just heard, but also oil and coal. At the same time, the president is proposing slimming down the Department of Energy, their budget. So how does the administration ramp up the energy agenda while streamlining the government?
God damn, man. Hold on, y'all.
Let's bring in Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Secretary Wright, thank you so much for being here and being part of our special. Let's just start by talking about the Trump energy agenda, because it's so important not only for national security, for energy, but the overall economy. Talk about how the president and you are working together to fast track energy projects in this country and roll back some of that red tape.
Yeah, the quality, affordability.
Sorry about that. Y'all don't know what the fuck going on, man. God damn.
Reliability of a state or a country's energy system just dictates how well it's going to do in this world. So we had 4 years of obstructions in energy, driving up prices, reducing reliability. So our roadmap's easy. It's go the opposite direction. We're allowing the growth of U.S. LNG natural gas exports. We're helping permit pipelines. We're helping people build the infrastructure that consumers and customers are demanding, and that new businesses wanting to come to America or expand in America are demanding.
Yeah, that infrastructure is so important to be able to not only get the resources, but be able to move them around, Secretary. You're talking about faster permitting. You're talking about making the process. less onerous than it has been before. You're also talking about more drilling of existing wells, but also exploration. Energy production in this country basically stayed stagnant under Joe Biden, but we gave away millions of barrels that we could have been producing. So how do we ramp up quickly?
I think it's just setting the right business conditions for people, that people can get permits for export terminals. Like natural gas in the U.S., we produce a tremendous amount. The limit on how much we produce is how much we have the ability to move it to an end marketplace, either a factory, a home, or a power plant in the United States, or a terminal to export overseas. So we have approved in just over 100 days expansion, new terminals that'll have the capacity greater than the second largest exporting nation in the world for LNG. That's just the new approvals. So we're going to make the U.S. rapidly the powerhouse in global natural gas, which, by the way, is the fastest growing energy source on the planet. We're also doing the same thing for oil. We're allowing people to build pipelines and to get permits and build infrastructure to grow American energy production and businesses to come to our country and locate here. So this isn't subsidies, this isn't money, this is just creating the business conditions for private businesses to invest.
And this is so important because we're not just talking about the same old energy story, which is consumption in this country and being dominant on the global stage, relying less on other countries, but now we're talking about the emergence of AI as a completely new industry, and you're talking about natural gas, which will specifically be able to power the future. I know the president has said that he wants us to be the leader in AI, and energy is so important for that.
Absolutely, absolutely, Jackie. The last 20 years, we've seen so many energy-intensive industries. Think steel and autos that have left the aluminum that have left the United States and gone to be produced in Asia and then shipped back into our country. President Trump
I'll put this video in the description box, man.
Wants to bring those industries back to the United States, but to do that, you need a sane regulatory environment, and you need affordable, secure
so you can listen to it all the way through without this buffering shit.
Energy. And as you just mentioned, we have a brand new energy-intensive manufacturing industry coming into play. Artificial intelligence takes huge amounts of electricity and delivers intelligence. So what we're trying to do is allow people to build power plants and generation of all kinds. It'll probably mostly be natural gas because that's the most affordable and fastest to build today. But we want to see nuclear build. We want to stop closing coal plants. We're going to see solar continue to grow, and hopefully storage and better grid stability coming along with solar. That's been a problem in the past, but I think there's solutions to that. But yeah, we want AI to be here. The U.S. needs to lead in this industry.
And talk to me a little bit about reinvigorating those areas of energy that have been left for dead in this country. The coal industry has been impacted, and the president wants to revive it because we actually produce clean coal in the United States, so that represents a lot of jobs and energy resources. Also, nuclear. A lot of these plants have been shut down, but they're being put back online, and there are plans for the future because the president's strategy is one that accounts for all types of energy working together.
Exactly. To have a great energy system, you want it affordable, secure, and you want diversity of supply and of locations of plants, because things happen in this world. Coal has been the largest source of global electricity for 100 years, and it will be for decades to come. These sort of political virtue signalers saying we're going to close our plants, coal plants in the United States, and get rid of coal. That's not happening at all. The rest of the world is building coal plants and growing. So what we're going to do in the short run is stop closing our existing coal plants. Our biggest source of electricity is natural gas. Number 2 is nuclear. 3 is coal. So you got to worry about the top 3 at a start.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, yes, the Palisades plant in southwestern Michigan was shut down 2.5 years ago. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that plant is being back online, hopefully around the end of the year or early next year. We're going to stop the closure of coal plants, and we'll continue to see the building of new natural gas plants. And hopefully very soon we'll see the building of meaningfully new nuclear plants. Very excited about what's going to happen with energy in the U.S. in this administration.
Absolutely. We are poised for a boom. Very quickly, I want to look at the other side of the story, rolling back the Biden green agenda, because as we know, that's where a lot of the money went and where the resources were. Gas stoves, good shower heads, these things are back per President Trump. Here's the president talking about just that.
You ever try buying a new sink and no water comes out? Your shower heads, your toilets. The whole thing is a disaster. We now have it so you can have as much water as you want. I don't like taking a shower where the water goes drip, drip, drip onto my luxuriant hair. So we've opened up the shower heads, the faucets, the toilets, the washing machine. That don't give you water. All of that stuff has been opened up.
Secretary, the president is making appliances great again.
Absolutely. There was the Trump campaign in a nutshell. Just bringing back common sense. We're going to make people have to buy expensive clothes dryers that don't work as well. That's just, I mean, who came up with these crazy ideas? So we announced just a few days ago at the Department of the Energy 47 repeals or rollbacks of regulations for all the things he just spoke about. Get rid of these ridiculous restrictions on shower heads, what kind of cooking stove you want to use, what kind of clothes dryer you want to use. That stuff is nuts. Americans don't like it. It just makes their lives more expensive and less enjoyable.
Yeah.
We want a life to be affordable and abundant.
All those issues and the appliances actually weren't that efficient. You know, if you end up using more water because you need a longer shower, how much are you really helping anyway? Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright, thank you so much for being here. Great to see you.
Thanks, Jackie. Great to be with you.
I'm sorry about that, y'all. It was not buffering at first, but I'll put the link to this article in the description box. Hopefully it'll let me do it, but if not, you can just type in the title and you can watch it all the way through. And again, I apologize. But again, Trump's Energy Department warns Americans could face 800 hours of blackouts by 2030. And again, we just did the math. That's 33.33 days. That's a month. All right. Now let's play this one right here. We're going to start at the, well, I believe it's the 44-minute mark.
Timing matters, especially in the market and the bedroom.
Yeah, the 44-minute mark
No surprise.
to the 55-minute mark. So that's about 11 minutes. This is not going to buff, all right? So I'm going to turn it to the side and just listen. You know, because, hey, this is what they doing, man. So get ready for the blackouts and all the things they got going on. I'm going to play it from here.
For the Easter egg hunt that we have at the White House, and there were eggs. Part of it's oil. The oil, you have, do you want to say a couple of words about that, you and Chris, about what's happening with energy?
Well, absolutely, but I would say on the pricing side, President Trump, the fact that you've endorsed and supported a policy of energy dominance, that sends a signal to the market that we're going to have more supply. You talked during the campaign about inflation being a country buster. You've broken the back of inflation in 6 months among all the other things you've accomplished.
We have no inflation.
And we've got, heading into the 4th of July, these are the lowest gas prices at the pump in 4 years. And again, for Americans, this is like hundreds of billions of dollars that stay in their pockets because we lower the price of gas at the pump. But when we lower the price of energy, it lowers the price of food. It lowers the price of the clothes you wear.
It's the biggest thing.
It's the biggest thing.
It's like a big tax cut. When you get energy down, every 50 cents is like a massive tax cut, and we've gotten it down much below that. You know, we had great energy, great low prices, everything else when the election turned over. I'm trying to be nice about it. It turned over, shockingly, but nevertheless it happened. Energy started going up, and it went up really bad, and then he went back to the Trump policy. The problem was they didn't know how to do that, and he lost it. He lost that sucker. That big sucker was out of control, and his energy prices went way up, and that's what caused it. But it was also stupid spending. They spent money like, they used to use the term drunken sailors, but I won't use that term. Although it is very descriptive, I won't use that term. I refuse to use it. But they spent money at levels that nobody had ever seen before, and trillions and trillions of dollars wasted on the Green New Scam. Greatest scam in the history of our country, other than maybe Russia, that might have been. But the Green New Scam was the single greatest scam in the history of our country, and continues to be, but it's weakened badly. It's hobbling along because people are finally getting it. But they spent trillions of dollars on the Green New Scam, getting nothing for it. Devised by a couple of young people that weren't even good college students, you know? Not even good students. Check out their marks. Yeah?
Can you clear something up, Mr. President, on what you said last
not
night?
for CNN.
You said you
Not for CNN. Go ahead.
In the last jobs report, Mr. President, in the last jobs report, the manufacturing jobs actually lost 7,000 jobs. When will the investments that you've been talking about have an effect
Well,
on
they're building the plants now. About 7 have started. We're going to have hundreds started within a short period of time. Lee Zeldin, who may be the most important man in this room, I'm sorry, but he's the one that gets the permits. Whereas he's the one that has to get the permits for the plants and the factories, and permits that used to take 5 years, he's getting in record-setting times. AI, we're leading China a lot in AI, and if we go with this, you know, I'm allowing the plants to build their own electric. I'm allowing them to become an electric utility, so they can produce their own electricity, because we need double to be successful with AI, which is the biggest thing now. We need double the electricity that we have, which is hard to believe. We need even more than that. And they're building plants with their own electricity substations. They don't have to use the grid. And anything they build extra, they're putting into the grid. So we're supplying the grid with brand new electric sources. And you know, it's funny, when they came to see me, they never even asked for that. I told them about it. The reason they didn't, they thought that was an impossibility. You're not allowed to build your own electric. These are massive investments that are being made in building electricity for their plants. And they're going to have, I think, Doug, a lot of electricity left over. And that electricity is going to be passed into the grid and give us no more, you know, like you look at California. They have blackouts and brownouts every week. They're totally out of control. They have a really incompetent governor. Where's Chris? Is he here? Do you want to speak to the subject?
Yeah, I think a huge thing in the One Big Beautiful Bill, Mr. President, because of your leadership, is the ending of these subsidies, as you call them, the Green New Scam. That saves our country $500 billion over the next 10 years. But American taxpayers were paying twice. They were paying that money, $500 billion in the subsidies, and they were paying more expensive electricity price. If you subsidize something, you should at least lower the cost of it. But in this case, we were subsidizing something and paying more for it. So the One Big Beautiful Bill had two huge things: ending wasteful spending. Wind, solar, and batteries combined are 3% of U.S. total primary energy. 3% for $1 trillion, another $500 billion coming. It's just not a good investment, hurting our businesses, hurting our consumers. And the One Big Beautiful Bill also unshackled oil, gas, and coal development in the United States, onshore and offshore. Secretary Burgum has been working tirelessly on how, by getting the government out of the way, private businesses will develop more resources in the United States, lowering costs for American consumers and making much better leverage for the United States to help our allies abroad and reduce the power of our adversaries abroad. So just a huge win on the energy front all around, but I thank you for your leadership.
We're setting records now on energy, and there'll be nothing compared to what they'll be in about a year from now. But we're setting records, and wind is a very expensive form of energy. It's very bad for your beautiful surroundings, the plains and the valleys, the birds are dying all over the place. You know, the whole thing is a disaster. They're almost exclusively made in China. Not that I have anything against China, because I don't have a great relationship with President Xi, but I asked him, how many wind farms do you have? He makes them, but they don't have a lot of wind farms. I'll tell you, very, very few. And wind is tremendously expensive and is very ugly. And if you own a house that's inside of a windmill, your house is worth less than half. And you hear noises. And interestingly, in New England, you probably read, where for 50 years they had 2 wells washed up. 50 years. And last summer, they had 14 washed up. Now, I'm not saying that's the wind farm that was built, but maybe it is, right? Probably is. It's tremendously expensive, and it can only be done with subsidy. You know, I know a man that's in that business, and one of the biggest in the world actually runs a company that builds these stupid windmills. And he said, I hate the business because it's the only energy where you need subsidy. He said, energy shouldn't need subsidy. You should make money with energy. So when the other one is the solar, those big solar fields, they're taking our farmland. Our farmers are like mortified by it. They hate it. It's very, very inefficient and very ugly too. You know, probably better than a windmill, but you go around and you see all these things that are 3 miles long by 3 miles wide, and you say, what the hell is that? And it's a lot of plastic from China. It's plastic, black plastic from China. Now, we want to be smart. We're going with, look, China right now is building 58 coal-fired plants, 58 big ones. They have 62 on the books to build. We've reintroduced clean, beautiful coal, because, you know, you can do a lot with coal now, clean, beautiful coal, and natural gas, and all of the other things that we have. But we don't want wind, and we don't want solar, because they're a blight on our country. They hurt our country very badly, and smart countries don't use it. Solar sounds good, I will say, and I like, on occasion, you'll see a roof which is made of solar brick, but it's a smaller use. We need the kind of thing that's going to fire up our plants, and it's not going to be wind. You know, it's very intermittent, as you probably know. But they've spent a fortune. They've spent trillions of dollars on this stuff. And I'll just give you one other story. A friend of mine is a very successful guy. He went back to see his mother in Minnesota, hadn't seen her in a long time. And he wasn't back for 10 years, which isn't a nice story. I mean, you don't see your mother for 10 years. He's got some difficulties, which I know the guy, he does have some difficulties. He's very successful, but probably not the nicest person. It was actually longer than 10 years, but he went back and he told me he wanted to go and look at the valley. There's a valley in Minnesota that he thought was so beautiful. And I hadn't seen it in a long time. He's driving along the road and said, oh my I'll use the word gosh. Oh my gosh. He said, oh, he said it looked like a junkyard. He had 159 windmills. They were all over the place. Some were old, some were newer, different companies, different shapes, different sizes, different colors. Many of them were terminated meaning closed. You can't take them down because the environmentalists don't let you bury the blades because they're made out of a fiber they say is bad for the earth. So they want you to put them up, but they don't let you take them down. But many of them were turned off. He said it looked like a junkyard. Go to Palm Springs, California, and take a look at that pile of junk. You go into a wealthy neighborhood. Before you get there, you have to ride through hundreds of windmills that are, most of them are turned off. They're rotting, they're rusting, they're 30 years old, 20 years old. And they have a very short life. You know, those windmills have a very short life, especially the ones that are in the nice salty Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean where the salt just gets under that steel and decimates it. No, it's a horrible, horrible thing for our country. And I speak out. It would be nice to say wind, because it sounds so good, doesn't it, Doug? Wind. But it's not. It's these ugly machines, and they're all made, you got to see, some are a little taller, a little shorter. They're made by different companies. They have different stocks. They have different blades. They have different everything. It is so horrible. And if you look at smart countries, they don't use it. Smart countries don't use it. And we're now a smart country. We're a brilliant country. We're not smart. We're brilliant now. We're going to be a brilliant country. We have to be, because we have to catch up with some really stupid people that did a bad job. Yes, Brian? Yes, Mr. President. I've got a quick.
You see, America just said they was ahead of China in AI. Now he said, hey, they got to catch up concerning what the infrastructure. So you see, he's talking out of both sides of the mouth, man. All right, but you see where things are headed. You see what's going on. You see where we are. And so expect, the worst of the worst to happen, which is prophecy. And these things are going to play out, man, as we read in the prophecies. Now, there's one more thing I want to hit real quick. Seriously. Real quick concerning these hospitals and this big, beautiful bill. All right, because without these hospitals receiving funding, because, they operate and run based upon the insurances. Excuse me. Right? The insurances keep these hospitals running. And that's how they get paid. Well, 21 hours ago, WJHL, it says experts warn VA hospitals could close. Health insurance premiums could jump after Trump signs the big, beautiful bill. And it's not just Virginia. It's everywhere. All right? So, hey, as the scripture said in Jeremiah, I believe it's the 30th or the 31st chapter, there shall be no healing medicine. All right? And which is going into the nation, is actually going into the nation of Israel. Matter of fact, let's get it real quick. Not being healed from these curses, okay? While we're in captivity. Okay, these curses are not going to come off of us until our Lord Yahweh Shai returns. It's actually, I think it's the 31st chapter. Jeremiah 31. There is no healing medicine. Matter of fact, let's get that one real quick. Jeremiah 30:13. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. You see? So again, it's talking about the nation of Israel, but hey, this still applies, man, because the medicals, the hospitals and doctor offices and things of that nature, hospitals and assistants, Medicaid and all that. So hey, let's just play this.
Home apart from the others with limited unique decor.
That'll
We
be it.
personalize pillows and we design floral arrangements just for you. Look over the largest selection of Brighton jewelry in our area. Our personalized gift, your capital connection tonight. Some Virginia hospitals are warning that this big, beautiful bill could have
Oh shit! Go with this goddamn shit.
serious impacts on Virginians. Health officials saying the new law could lead to some hospitals closing and
prices going up for everybody. Capitol Bureau reporter Tyler Englander joining us live in studio. And Tyler, what has them so concerned?
Well, Heather, Virginia's Hospital and Healthcare Association says more people will soon be showing up to the hospital for care that they can't pay for. They say that means hospitals will be forced to find a way to pay for that care or simply close altogether.
You hear that?
Tonight, Virginia hospitals are sounding the alarm after President Donald Trump signed his so-called Big Beautiful Bill into law.
The Senate did a couple things that, at full implementation, are going to cost hospitals in Virginia more than $2 billion annually based on our projections.
The latest data from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office found that about 11.8 million people nationwide could lose their health insurance as a result of cuts made to Medicaid and other programs. Julian Walker with the Virginia Hospital and Healthcare Association says that could lead to more people showing up to the emergency room without insurance, forcing hospitals to treat them without getting paid. Walker says that new financial strain on hospitals may lead to higher healthcare costs for all Americans.
So the rates for insurance that you and I pay, who have insurance coverage through our employer, those rates are also going to be impacted because the system is absorbing those losses, that uncompensated care.
Or even worse, Walker says, hospitals, specifically in rural areas, could be forced to make changes, putting Virginians' health at risk.
Your local hospital closes or your local hospital has to scale back services, your ability to access care at that facility is impacted.
In a statement, Republican Congressman Rob Whitman didn't answer our specific questions on the potential for hospitals to close, but said new work requirements, which could cause some people to lose their Medicaid coverage, quote, will ensure that our most vulnerable populations, such as pregnant women, children, seniors, and individuals with disabilities, will continue to have access to the assistance they need. In doing so, we are strengthening Medicaid and reinforcing its long-term sustainability. Now, Walker says additional changes made to the Affordable Care Act outside of this bill could also lead to even more people losing their health insurance. Live in studio tonight, I'm Tyler Englander.
So in other words, a lot of people,
I'm Alan from
a lot of people gonna die. And if you think these hospitals are gonna stay open, no, they're gonna close. And if you think they're gonna treat people for free, you got another thing coming. So you see, this angrier world is here. All right, hey, people are gonna die, and people are gonna be begging Esau for aid, for help, for comfort. While this whole system is being set up, man, right before your very eyes. And when people start seeing people dying and they lack the resources and they don't have the comfort and the things they need, the food and everything, and they got kids and family members, hey, people gonna bow the knee, man. All right, so this is all a part of the plan. All right, so us as a whole flat, we really need Yahweh Shema Shai. Revelation 13 and 15, and he had power to give life into the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed and was separated. And he caused of all, both small, great, rich, poor, and free, and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. For his wisdom, let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. Its number is 603 and that's this beast system where, hey, you will have to be scanned in and out, and the only way you can be scanned in and out, tracked and traced, is if you bow the knee and got this implantable device, which is the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, in either hand or in your forehead, which is a literal device, man. All right, you will not be able to function without it. All right, so you see what's going on, man. Shalom.